Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, today we're talking about how you can double your TSP as quickly as you possibly can. What are the things you need to do to grow your TSP as quickly as you can, whether you are 30 years from retirement or even right at retirement? What are the things that you should be doing to make sure you're getting the growth that you need in your TSP? Now, if you are new here, so good to have you. My name is Dallin Hawes. I'm a financial planner who serves federal employees and helping you get the most out of your retirement every single day. Okay, here's the deal. There are really only 3 things you have control over in the TSP to help you double your TSP as soon as possible. Number 1, let's go. You have to save as much as you possibly can. If you're not putting as much as you can into the TSP, the odds of you doubling your TSP really soon, as quickly as possible, really goes down. Now, here's the deal. There's some gurus out there, let's say the Dave Ramseys of the world. There's lots of people that say, hey, look, you have to save 15% or 20% or a certain percent of your pay into the TSP. And honestly, those are some good rules of thumb. However, every person's situation is so different. If someone is 20 years old and they're going to be consistently investing for the next 40 years before retirement, what they have to do to hit their goals is very different from someone that's 50 years old and hasn't saved a dime yet for retirement. It's very different on what they're going to have to do to be able to reach, let's say, $1 million in the TSP. It's very different. However, this is what I'd say to you. I don't care what you're saving in the TSP right now. What can you do today? Can you improve it? Whether you're only doing, let's say, 5% to get the 5% match, or you're doing more, can you improve it just a little bit? What about the next pay raise that happens? What about the next step increase you get? Can you take some of that and can you put it towards saving into the TSP? I don't care if you're already doing 20%. Can you do a little bit more? Okay? Again, I'm not in favor of you just living off beans and rice while you're working, so one day in retirement you will have enough. I'm not in favor of that either, but you've got to find a good balance. Can you do just a little bit better? And often when people realize, hey, I saved a little bit more in the TSP and it did decrease my paychecks a little bit, but I haven't noticed it at all, right? So that it's up to you to find the balance for you to save as much as possible. Now that's number 1. Number 1 thing that you need to do to help double your TSP ASAP. Number 2, you've got to have a good investment strategy. If you're just pouring money into the TSP, but you're not investing it in a way that makes sense for you, you're in trouble, okay? You're in trouble. If you're a 100% G fund for your entire career, your account is just gonna creep along so slowly. Even if you're maxing out the TSP every year, it's not gonna make a huge difference if you don't have a good investment strategy. Now, obviously, the strategy that a 20-year-old is gonna wanna take compared to, let's say, someone that is 70 years old, it's going to be different, certainly, okay? However, whatever your strategy is, you've got to have a strategy, okay? Most people just talk to their coworker once and it's like, oh, my coworker does this, so I'm going to do that. No, you don't want to do that. You want to have a strategy that makes sense for you and that you stick with it. Now, I have a whole video. I'm going to actually link it up below. If you want to go over some of the best investment strategies based on where you're at in your career, definitely go check that out. Again, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time in this video when there's other things to discuss. Go check that out. So long story short, whatever strategy makes sense for you during your career, stick to that strategy. Have a strategy in your mind that you can actually execute on and do, and you stick with it, okay? Don't just blindly say, oh, this is how they automatically invested in my TSP when I was hired, I'm just going to keep that. Don't do that, right? At least understand what they have you in, and if it still makes sense for you and it matches your strategy, awesome. But at least you are taking control over how your money is invested so you can take responsibility for your life, okay? Next, time. Once you are saving as much as you possibly can, once you are having an investment strategy and you're sticking to it, you're not floundering when markets go crazy, right? The next most important thing is time. In investing, time is one of the most powerful things you have to let things grow and to compound, okay? And here's the deal. If you're 20 years old, you automatically have lots of time. So kudos to you, and anything you can do as a 20-year-old is going to be compounded so many times that anything you're able to invest in the TSP now as a young person makes a massive difference when you're older. However, let's say you're 57 or you're retiring tomorrow, you're in your 60s, and you say, hey, look, okay, I get it. If you're 20, you got lots of time, but I'm 60 years old. I'm about to retire tomorrow. Is there any possible way I can double my TSP, right? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Now, obviously, if you're about to retire and about to start using some of this money, growth is going to be slower, right? You may be taking withdrawals. You're going to be investing it maybe a little more conservatively. Again, check out my investment video in the description below if you want to see how you should be investing close to retirement, okay? Things are going to be different. Things are going to be slower, certainly, but think about it. Even if you're 60 years old, you're probably going to have a 30-year retirement. You've got another 30 years that you need your money to be growing, to beat inflation, to make sure you never run out. So the game is not over once you retire. It's just a new game that has begun. It's different. You still need growth in your TSP even at retirement. If you're only 20 years old, again, you have lots of time. But even if you're retiring tomorrow, you still have lots of time, and you've got to, again, stick to your strategy. You got to do the best you can. Okay, you still have lots of time to get the growth you need on your TSP. And again, over a 30-year retirement, you better hope your money's growing. If you're 100% G fund, your entire career, 30 years, your money's going to get absolutely murdered by inflation during that time. You got to be getting growth, and you got to be doubling your TSP every so often, at least, even if it's over some decades, so that you keep up with inflation over time. Okay. Now here's the deal. Let me give you some bonus tips, okay, to make this even more impactful. Whenever I talk to people, whenever we're in a down market, when the stock market is having a hard time, so many times I've talked to people and they say, hey, look, Dallin, the market's having a hard time. I actually pulled back my TSP contributions. I'm not saving as much in the TSP right now because I know, again, the market's down. I don't want to put more money into something that's not doing well. I don't want to do that, okay? And I look at them, I say, no, what are you doing? You're missing an incredible opportunity, right? Let me ask you this way. Let's say you are really into a certain type of collectible, or let's say you're in the market of buying a house, or you're trying to buy a boat, or there's something you're trying to buy out there, okay, that you value, and let's say it's on sale. You could buy it and it's half the price that it was before. Is it worth buying? Or maybe you say, no, it's half price, but guess what? That means it's not doing well. I don't want to invest. It's like, well, no. When it's down market and you're still working, that's actually a great thing to happen. That means every dollar you contribute into the TSP, when the TSP and the markets are down, you're getting more bang for your buck. It's actually the best opportunity. The best thing to do during that time is to double down and put even more into the TSP, right? Because you're able to buy more at a good price. Okay, you're getting a great deal when the market's down, and when you take advantage of those down markets, you're able to double your TSP even faster because, again, you're getting the most bang for your buck during that time. Okay, now here's the deal. Let me tell you the secret of the vast majority of TSP millionaires that I talk with. I have a conversation with them. All my clients that are TSP millionaires, I always ask them, I say, hey, what'd you do? Over the course of your career, what did you do so you ended up with $1 million in your TSP? And my conversation with them almost always goes the same way. About 80% of them say the exact same thing, almost verbatim. They say, hey, look, honestly, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. They said, hey, when I was first hired, my boss sat me down and said, hey, look, I know you're young, but right now you're going to contribute this percentage of your TSP into the TSP, you're paying to the TSP, and you're going to stick it into the C fund or the S fund, one of the stock-based funds that are going to grow over time, and you're going to keep it in there your entire career, and you're not going to mess with it, okay, until you get closer to retirement. And they did that, right? They basically started contributing right away, and they contributed into things that are going to grow over time, and they woke up at retirement, and then that's when they were talking with me. They're like, look, I honestly don't know. I didn't know a lot of things, okay? But I just took a few good pieces of advice, and I woke up in retirement with $1 million in my TSP. And honestly, I hear that story over and over and over again, okay? So being a TSP millionaire is not about being super smart, honestly. Sometimes the really, really smart people I talk with, they overthink it. They try to get fancy with it, and they get worse results. It's about finding the strategy. Again, check out my investment strategy video to find the mix that makes sense for you. Once you have that strategy, stick to your plan. Stick to your plan. Don't get flustered when other people are getting flustered, okay? Don't get greedy when other people are getting greedy. You want to stick to your plan, take advantage of down markets, save as much as you can, stick to your strategy, and let time do its thing, okay? So I hope that's helpful. Again, these are the secrets of the TSP millionaires that I see and talk with every single day. So I hope that is helpful for you to help double your TSP as soon as possible. Now, you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time.